What's up? I'm Mel from Fortin Amps, and in this video we're putting the Hexdrive to the test against the dual rectifier. So if you guys don't know about the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, or any of the rectifier series for that matter, it is a tried and true staple amp in metal and rock. These amps have historically been featured in rock and metal all the way up until modern day gent. And if you guys have experience with this amp, you guys know that it can get really muddy really quick because it has tons of low end information. So in this video, I'm going to put it to the test with the Hexdrive to see if it can clean up that low end, give it that extra bite, and give it that modern day metal twist. Alright, so enough talk, let's get to dialing this thing in. Alright, so just like we do in Does It Grind, we're going to put the Hexdrive to the test with the dual rectifier. And right now my signal chain is the FGN ILLIAD with Fishman pickups going into the Roach, splitting off, keying the Zuul, and then we're going to be going through the Hexdrive, so just ignore the grind and 33. They're just on my pedal board because I like them there. So let's hear how this sounds with the Hexdrive off. Alright, so you can tell that the Fishmans do a good amount of work just because the Fishmans are, you know, the modern standard for that modern metal tone. Alright, so I do want a little bit more bite out of my tone, so I am going to push that treble up a bit. And since the gain is pretty low, I still get to be a little dynamic. And then let me see if I can get a little bit more presence out of my tone. Let me see if I can get a little bit more mid. The Mesa is notorious for being a bit muddy if you do push up that bass a little. But we do want it to give a big fat chug. So right now, I'm going to roll off the bass to see if I can get a tight tone. Now I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of that low end back just by pushing my master. Push my output a little bit. So I think that sounds pretty cool, but I do think I can get a little bit more bite and tighten up the low end. So right now I'm going to use the Hexdrive to do exactly that. I'm going to turn it on with all of the settings at 12. And let me see how it sounds. So I can tell that my tone thinned out a little bit just because of how the Hexdrive is set up, but let me try to make up for that with the bass. So I'm going to push it up to see just how drastic of a difference I can make. So without it, and then with it. So now I'm going to see if I can push it up a little bit more. And my tone's a little bit compressed just because of the gain that I've gotten with the Hexdrive. So I'm going to lower that a bit. And then I'm going to up the level. And then now I'm going to try to add some bite by pushing the tone knob a little bit up. Alright, that sounds pretty solid. Let me see if I can push up the treble a little bit. Push back the mids just to see if I can get it to be a bit more edgy, more metalcore.
mess around with the gain here. Alright, so I want my tone to be a little bit more dynamic, so I'm going to lower that and probably lower the gain here a little bit more. And then let me see how far I can push it. Push the bass all the way. And then I'm going to push, I'm trying to make it up. So I'm just going to try to find the sweet spot right now. Alright, so I dig that tone a lot, actually. I get a good amount of pick attack. And a good amount of bass for those chugs. Alright, so let's see what it sounds like when the hex drive is turned off. Alright, so you can tell with the hex drive turned off, it gets a little bit rounder, the pick attack comes out a little bit less. Alright, so when the hex drive's back on, alright, so with all that put together, I'm pretty stoked on this tone. Let's hear it out in a demo. Alright, so there you have it. I think the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier passes the hex drive test. I hope this video gave you a better idea of what the hex drive can do to an amp and what it can do for your tone. And if it did, please give this video a thumbs up, sub to the channel if you haven't already, ring that bell to stay tuned for future videos, and leave a comment down below on what you want me to put through the hex test next. That's a mouthful. Again, my name's Mel from Fortin Amps, and I'll catch you on the next one.